What if I told you that there's actually 0 studies that show that meat by itself is even correlated, let alone causated, with any negative health outcome? Today I'm with Ed in the car and we're just on the way to Sydney Olympic Park. We're going to our first ever Sydney vegan market. Yeah, we're really excited. You got anything to add, Ed?
Yeah, it's going to be great. We're just going to be discussing with vegans, asking some questions.
So you don't eat plants?
Just having a friendly debate, really, and we just want to learn more about vegans. We know that these people are really interested in health and they're just a little bit misguided.
I've lost 27 kilos. I've cured all my depression. I don't have any binge eating problems. I've cured my ADHD, inflammation. I had a lot of chronic pain and injuries. Cured all my acne. Essentially, I just have scars. Stick around and see what happens.
All right, guys, we're actually here at the vegan market right now. I've already seen a couple of blue-head people and I've seen a couple of soy boys. It's been pretty interesting. We're going to talk to some people. We're going to go check out the food there and yeah, it should be fun.
Just covered.
So they gave me a little piece of vegan cookie. All I've really seen here is just sugar. This vegan market is just the sugar market. Got this little piece of cookie, I'm gonna give it a go. Yeah, it's just been a lot of sugar. It looks really unhealthy. Burgers, lemonade, you know, refined sugar-free. Like that just means they're putting other types of sugar in it. It's just so much sugar here, like it's unreal. Just looking at people around, there's been quite a few malnourished kind of looking people. Everyone is quite skinny, but like not the good skinny. They're more like skinny fat type thing. So yeah, it's just a bit disappointing to see.
Today we're with
Sophie.
Nice to meet you, Sophie. I'm Daniel. Today we're with
Kirsten and Brittany.
And Brittany and Kirsten have been vegetarian for how long?
12 years. This is my 10th year.
She is a vegan. So how long have you been a vegan for?
I've been vegan 8 years.
What are the sort of main benefits you've seen on the vegan diet?
I just feel more like in tune with myself because I love animals and the planet.
Yeah, I love animals a lot too, and I know I eat animals, but the sort of thing that makes me a bit cautious about eating plants in the vegan diet is I understand that animals and plants in an evolutionary arms race don't want to be eaten at all. They're trying to survive. And while animals can sort of run away and protect themselves through physical matters, a lot of plants are stuck in the ground, so they induce a lot of defense mechanisms to protect themselves. Oxalates, tannins, phytates, succillates, fiber and stuff. So what sort of would you say to someone who said that? Are you not worried about the defense mechanisms in plants at all?
So you don't eat plants?
I'm actually a carnivore. I don't eat any plants. I've been doing this for 4 months. I feel great. Do you sort of think I'm missing out on a lot of the benefits from vegetables or any of the nutrients from vegetables?
Yeah, definitely. I feel you would be.
So many.
Can you please name one benefit that I would be missing out on?
Big misconception is that iron comes from meat and you have to eat meat to get iron, but a lot of vegetables actually have a higher iron content than meat does.
Yeah, that is true. On the packet, it does have a higher iron content. However, as well, the question was more sort of for like what sort of vitamins or minerals or stuff do you think that I would be deficient in, or are there any sort of things I'd be missing out from, you know, not eating?
It's not that you're missing out, I just think you're doing damage to your body by only eating meat.
I don't eat any plants, any pasta, any vegetables, and my health has been amazing. Like every single metric of health, I've lost almost 30 kilos, killed depression. Yeah, I've done blood tests, all my levels are fine.
The nitrates in the meat?
Yeah, cool. See, nitrates are mainly found in processed meats, and I don't really have processed meats, and I'm pretty sure our saliva even makes more nitrates than the ones that are found in processed meats.
Your arteries wouldn't be happy with you. Put your diet down to like being plant-based a couple days a week.
Yeah, so what if I told you that there's actually 0 studies that show that meat by itself is even correlated, let alone causated, with any negative health outcomes?
But there is.
Not by meat by itself. It's people who eat McDonald's, but they're classified as meat eaters because, you know, they've got a little bit of beef in their patty.
McDonald's?
No.
Never eat a McDonald's?
No.
So look, I feel like you have some argument. I'd like to see this over, say, 3-year period or something, like as a study, or I don't know how you could get someone to, I don't know. But
There's actually one study done by, it's the only clinical study and randomized control trial done by Paul Mason in Sydney, and it actually showed that people on a high fiber diet have the most constipation, and then every time it progresses, medium fiber, less constipation, low fiber, less, and then no fiber, 0 constipation. I have eaten McDonald's in my past, but I've been carnivore for 4 months, and I have eaten McDonald's on the carnivore diet, but when I actually go there, all I get is 2 Angus beef patties, bacon and cheese, essentially.
It's mainly like the processed meat at McDonald's and places like that do the worst to you. And a lot of meat you do get in supermarkets, they're pumped with steroids.
That's why I get the one that's grass-fed, but I do agree that processed food isn't ideal, and I do think that the main culprit for these cardiovascular diseases are actually from processed foods, not so much the meat, because we know that our ancestors would have been eating predominantly meat diets.
what about like all the studies that have been done on like high levels of meat?
Well, I sort of hear
It's
that.
general knowledge, I think.
Yeah. You hear that? That's like, when I first started the carnivore diet, I'm like, oh, I'm worried about getting cancer and stuff. But if you actually take a second to look into the research, we actually know that there's no causative evidence that shows that meat has any negative health effects whatsoever. Most of the studies are multi-scale surveys, so they'll go say to people, do you eat meat? And then the people who eat meat, they eat pizzas, but that's considered meat because there's meat on it. Or they eat McDonald's, and because you've got, the bread, the sugary fries with seed oils and stuff, that's considered meat. Because also people who are on the vegan diets or eating more plants, also more likely to not be smoking, they're more likely to be doing exercise, not really be drinking alcohol, because they really care about their health. Let me propose an idea to you, right? So, do you think it's plausible to say that humans now live longer after eating highly refined diets with sugars, highly refined diets with seed oils, and diets that are full of processed foods now? Because if we only used to live, say, let's say 30 years before, then how are we living 70 to 90 years now? So I do think that a lot of the reasons why we were dying early was more because we didn't have these medicine advancements now, and the life expectancy statistics were actually skewed because a lot of infants died at birth. So on average, it was lower. With sort of the fiber thing, I can't even really digest fiber or break it down whatsoever. Fiber is like sort of putting a plastic bag in your stomach. It sort of just blocks the nutrients. And like fat is the real thing that we should be using to help with our stools. And it was only around 1960 or 1970 when everyone started doing the low fat diet, then everyone got really constipated. So then everyone started eating heaps of fiber. And yes, it fixes it in the short term, but we have seen a lot of these issues like irritable bowel syndrome. But I'm just saying, we run a YouTube channel and thousands, everyone is healing from IBS. So if keep doing what you're doing, and if something doesn't work, then because we know that fiber can put stress on the colon and the bowel, and even patients after having surgery on their colon and their gut, the doctors tell them to have low fiber diets because you don't want to stress the bowel.
You need some veggies, you need some green leafies for sure. Absolutely, you're missing out on
Yeah, like I thought that too, but then when I actually look at what I'm missing out on,
long term, you can't sustain that.
what's wrong with fat?
You can't have like the amount of fat that you're going to be having, the oils, the cholesterol. Yeah.
What's wrong with cholesterol?
In your blood test with your LDLs and your HDLs, are like they all.
So my
in the
HDL,
right-
so my HDL is high, my triglycerides are low. Then my LDL is starting to approach the upper limits. But what's the issue with cholesterol? I'm a bit
Well, your
confused.
LDLs, for example, lead to the arteriosclerosis and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's like been no causative studies that show that cholesterol has any like negative health outcomes. And did you actually know that 50% of people that have a heart attack actually have low cholesterol? Like that's fact. Like 50% of people that have a heart attack have low cholesterol. And since around the last 50 years, we've drastically lowered our meat and cholesterol. And then for some reason, the heart attack rates have tripled. We've decreased our meat and cholesterol intake by 33%. And then our heart attacks rate and cardiovascular disease has tripled. So how can we be decreasing meat and cholesterol and then we're increasing heart attacks? It doesn't really. So
It's all the processed food.
So it's not meat then?
Meat
Meat
is
can-
100% in there in the processed foods though. So overall, like by population and everything with what people are consuming, there's less meat being consumed now, as you say, but there's more processed food. And some of that's meat, some of that's not.
yeah.
So
What is your end goal with this? Like, would you like to, do you feel like advocating for adopting just a meat-based diet is going to lead to better health outcomes? Is that what you kind of...
Yeah, well, if you want me to just quickly anecdotally say the experiences that I felt in 4 months, I've lost 27 kilos, I've cured all my depression, I don't have any binge eating problems, I've cured my ADHD, inflammation, I had a lot of chronic pain and injuries, cured all my acne, essentially I just have scars. Just, if you look through ancestrally, we know that we evolved on meat for a lot of our evolution. We're eating carnivore diets, humans are carnivores, we've got the stomach pH of 1.5, it's highly acidic, which would only be necessary if we were feasting on the carcasses of dead animals in nature and things that have a lot of bacteria on them. And also stuff like stable nitrogen isotope 15 testing shows that we are in the higher end of the food chain, similar to lions and stuff. So although it seems a bit crazy what I'm saying, I'm just really thinking about it, speaking to people.
I appreciate you have seen that you have done some research. Like,
Yeah.
I know there's numbers and you'd have to like look at all the studies and stuff,
Yeah.
but I appreciate you put some time into it. Like, I know that you're not...
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you guys' open-mindedness and honesty. And it was great to talk to you guys. So, thank you so much. Thank you.
We don't have anything against meat eaters, but that's what
eats meat.
my husband eats meat, my children eat meat,
I feel like being plant-based a couple times a week could just help.
and it helps the environment.
Personally, right now, I feel the best on this diet. You guys might feel the best in vegetarian. Thank you for chatting. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, guys, we just finished up at the vegan markets. It was so much fun. Really good talking to a lot of vegans. We heard some different perspectives. We're going to go back. We're going to go look at some of those things. Obviously, we didn't want to be super rude, so we didn't want to be pushing stuff down their throats, but we just want to have a good conversation, and I think it went pretty good.